Okay, hello there, I'm Dennis, and in this video I'm going to talk about my clock. Now, I used to use the Orage panel clock, and I use Arch Linux, and Arch Linux did an update back in the first week of 2021, January 2021. Well, I woke up the next morning and my clock was gone. The first thing I did naturally was I went to my panel and it said add new items, and I went up here and typed in Orage, and I got absolutely no results. Well, that's how I added the clock to start with, so I knew that it should have been there. I did check, and I no longer had that plugin installed on my system. I pulled up Google and did a Google search, and right away, this is dated January the 7th, 2021, and it says, please, where is Orage panel clock? I knew I wasn't alone right away. I read on down here, and it says this is the moderator. It says Orage hasn't had an active maintainer for a number of years now. With Xfce 4.16 and the dropping of GTK2 support for the panel plugins, Orage no longer works as a panel plugin. I knew I was going to have to do something about the Xfce clock. I knew that installed by default we had the Xfce panel plugin, or panel clock plugin. I went to their docs page, the xfce.org docs page, and looked at their panel clock. It basically tells you what you're seeing when you just pull this up, but it doesn't tell you how to, and it tells you what these functions are, but it doesn't really tell you how to personalize it. What you do get is being able to understand that you can set it to be a 24-hour clock. You can do the show the AM, PM, and then you have here all these options of the different time expressions that you can use, including the flags. Really, I had that much already down pat. Just the standard settings worked, but I wasn't happy with that. I did see this little flag right here where it says Pango text attribute markup. It says it supports it. So I clicked on that and looked at that page. Here's where it got really interesting. I don't pretend to understand all of this or even most of it. I do understand enough of it to I've got my clock personalized, but I do know that there's a lot more I could do with it. I was reading about this Pango Markup, and it says frequently you want to display some text to the user with attributes applied to part of the text. For example, you might want bold or italicized words. With the base Pango interfaces, you could create a Pango attribute list and apply it to the text, etc., etc. I'm like, well, that sounds pretty cool, but how do you use that? Well, it says a simple example of a marked up string might be this. I'm going to highlight all that, and I'm going to say copy, go to my clock, and I'm going to right click and go to properties, and then I'm going to stretch it out so I can see the whole code. This happens to be the way mine is set right now. I'm going to highlight all that and then hit Control V on the keyboard, and immediately you can see here my clock went to actually saying text. Blue text is cool, and is cool is in italicized. Let's see here. Here's where the span, you can see here what these different things do. Blue, the word here, blue text. That's the large, which you can see right here. Extra large, we could go back right now and change that to XX large. Let's see. Right here. See, it got even larger. And so on. That just immediately, I'm like, oh my God, that is so cool. And it even says blue text is cool. I read through this, I got some ideas of what I was looking for, but I still wasn't. This is very nice, and if you understand all of this stuff right here, good for you, because you are brilliant. I mean, I could see that I could read, and I understood where these lines went and what was happening. But how do I make that work for me? Well, I went back to Google and I did a search for the Xfce 4 DateTime plugin, the date and the time. basically got even less information than I did on the Xfce doc page. But it goes through and tells you what each one says, not what it does, what it says. I knew I had to keep searching, so I found this article on changing the font size. It's dated 2018, July 2018, so it's a couple years old now, almost a few. It said that how can I configure my clock to make the font bigger? And I was like, wow, look at this. This is pretty cool. Naturally, I said, let me copy that and see what that does. I know what blue text looks like now. Highlight all that, Control V. Now I got a totally different look. I got Tuesday, the first month is January 26th, and the time, and immediately it's way too big for my setting here. So let me get back. There we go. Here's the color. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. So let me try another one. Of course, you can't recommend anybody just copy and paste anything right off of the internet, but this is pretty cool. This is magenta. Change the color there. Here, one more time for a copy and paste. Right click, paste. Now I just get the day and the time, and I already know that if I go % with a capital P, I'm going to get a lowercase am, and if I did it with a lowercase p, I'm going to get a capital AM. So I like that better, the lowercase. Now I'm on my way. I'm like, holy crap, I can do all kind of stuff with this clock. And I found this website here that shows you all the colors. Now there's several ways you can get these colors, these hexadecimal color codes. I discovered on the flatpak version of Kdenlive that when you select to change the color of a text or what have you, that when you select that color, it will show you this code. So that's one way to get it, or you can come to this website and just have them right here. You can see white, silver, black. Let's see if I click on that. It's already black, so we don't need to mess with that. Let me go back. That's how you do it. You'd click on whatever color you would want. You know, it looks like the sky's the limit. Pretty good color spectrum going on here. Now I knew how to change my font size, and I knew how to change the color. You could even do some other things I discovered. Let's go back to the original clock, the Xfce clock. When you set up Arch Linux, you run this command, right? Time date CTL set-ntp true. And that sets your time clock, your network time protocol. And if you wanted to, you could list your time zones with this command right here. If something happens, this happened to me a couple times with my clock. A lot of times it's because of the BIOS or CMOS battery. And if your battery's weak, you'll lose your clock if it's set to adjust the time according to your BIOS. There's been a time or two where I had to use this command right here. If you need to change your time, you just copy and paste this sudo time date CTL set-time, and then this is the date, the year, the month, the day. We got year, month, day, and the clock is 24-hour time. This one example is set at 8 a.m., 41 minutes and 16 seconds. Type that into your terminal, hit enter, and of course you make your adjustments, then hit enter, and your clock will go back keeping time. You can actually turn that off or on. You can check the status right here also with and find out. Let me just show you that. And it's not going to hurt anything. Bring up a terminal, Control-Alt-T, Control-Shift-V, hit enter. You can see I'm set for 10:16 a.m. American Chicago, and that's all right. And the time is actually right. Here was the original Orage clock time codes that I picked up in the man pages, but it's no longer valuable to me. Although I haven't checked all of these, but the ones I've checked, like I've done about 12 of them actually, they're all the same as the codes you get here in the panel clock, the Xfce panel clock. Now, if you want to get a lot of more details, you can type in man clock or man time and get the codes and such that way. But here's the same codes showing you the day, the time, the month, this, that, and the other. Let's see, here's the one that, this was my last one I just copied for this demonstration. Let me put that back in there. Control V. And you can see immediately it changed, and I'm using the font Ubuntu Bold 12. The color is 00000, and that is for the color. And then the first one there is for the day. And then if you're going to show the month, that would be after the day. You could go %M, and it tells you that it's the first month, and then the hour, and then the minute, and you could do seconds as well. Lowercase p is going to be capital AM or PM, and capital P is going to be lowercase AM or PM. I'm showing you here how much fun you can really have, and you can actually, let's see, where was that one? Let me try this one more time, or show this one more time. Where is it at? It says, try this. Watch this. I think this is it. Bring my clock back up. Control V. Yeah. Make it say anything you want to, as long as you got room. It's cool. I thought that was pretty neat. And you can also do the same thing. Let me just copy this one into there. Do the same thing with another one. Doesn't have to be this one. Control V. All right. Let me say font. Good morning. Put a space on it. And now I got good morning, or I could say good day. Anything you want. That is cool. And I'm glad to get to share this with you, because it was a trip learning this stuff, or looking at it and trying to figure out what I wanted mine to look at for now. That's not what I wanted. This is what I want. Put it back. Default setting here. Control V. And now I'm back to where I want to be. What about the fonts, though? How do you find out what fonts you got? You can say right now I have Ubuntu Bold, and I've tried System UI Bold. Let me show you that just real quick. These are just 3 that I happen to have tried. So I'm going to leave the size in there. I'm going to highlight Ubuntu Bold and say Control V. And now you can see we've got a different font. Times, let's go Times New Roman. Actually, that needs to be the whole word, bold. Copy. Go back in here. Highlight just that. Control V. Now you can see it changed again. Let's see what I can do. OLD. Yep, there you go. It needed to be capitalized. I knew there was something there. Let me change that. There we go. Those are just different fonts that I know I have on my machine. Now, like I said, there's a couple ways of doing it. You can go to your terminal, or you could look into, either way, user share fonts. And that's where all the fonts will be stored. Let me bring that up real quick. Under root, we got user, share, and in alphabetical order, we got fonts. And here you can see all the fonts that you have listed on your system. They're all listed here. Or you can run the Xfce-list. Let's see, Control-Alt-T. Control Shift V, Xfce-list, and that really gives you an entire list of everything, of all the fonts. Now you can narrow that search down. You can look, in this case, in this example, we're going to look for Control L to clear that screen, Control Shift V. We're going to look for all the mentions of Deja Vu Sans. Hit enter. Here is the Deja Vu Sans that I have installed on the system. You can change that to anything. Here you got TTFs, which takes a while. I'm not going to run that one. But if you run Xfce list, Xfce-list, and you don't get any output or command not found, what have you, it's because you don't have this package right here. If you get an error running this, or for any reason it don't run, see if you have the font config, FONTCONFIG. If you don't, install it and then run Xlist. Now here's another way to get to that. Close the terminal out of there. You can go to your settings panel, manager, whatever they call it, and in this case I'm going to go to appearance and go to fonts. Now under fonts here I can click on either one of those, either the default font or the default monospace font. Here it gives you a list of everything you've got on your system as well. By doing it this way, you can actually see what it looks like and even have it match whatever your clock is set for, which that's pretty cool too. I had a blast working with this, trying to get this clock the way I wanted it. It didn't start off looking like it does now. I looked at it for a couple days here or there, and then I'm going to settle on this one. It shows the day, the date, the date, the day, the month, the date, or the day of the date. So I hope it's made it easy for somebody that's wondering how to do something different with their clock. Most of the videos, if you'll look at the clocks on that video, they're just custom clocks, or not custom clocks, they're standard default clocks, and that works for me. I like just seeing the time, but you know, I customize this. I could take any portion of that off, make it bigger, smaller, change the color, all of that stuff, and hopefully you will be able to. I'll put these links in probably as titles, all these links that I used to share with you, and you can do the investigating yourself, make your own. That's going to close this out. We're going to save all that and say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on another video. Bye.